In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on February 5th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Oregon versus Michigan. The Oregon Ducks will face off against the Michigan Wolverines in a highly anticipated Big Ten matchup this Wednesday. In their most recent game, the Ducks secured a home victory against Nebraska. Meanwhile, the Wolverines were able to collect a road win over Rutgers just this past weekend. It's also worth noting that Oregon came out on top in the only meeting between these two teams last season. The two teams did indeed meet last season before they became conference rivals, and Oregon managed to secure an 86-83 overtime win as -2 favorites in that contest. However, the Ducks have been struggling recently, having lost 3 straight games by an average margin of 13 points per game. The last time they faced a top 5 offense in the conference, which was Penn State, they allowed 81 points, so Michigan's offense should find some success against Oregon's defense. The Wolverines rank as the second best shooting team in the Big Ten and are hitting 2 more 3-pointers per game than Oregon, which gives them a comfortable edge from long range. Michigan also holds an advantage on the boards, which could prove to be pivotal, especially with this game being played on their home court, where they are undefeated and have a solid record against the spread. The Oregon Ducks are in the midst of a slump, having dropped 3 consecutive games in 4 of their last 5. This includes a loss to Minnesota and a disappointing home defeat to Nebraska. On the other hand, the Michigan Wolverines have been performing at a high level, emerging as one of the best teams in the Big Ten and winning 3 out of their last 4 matchups. When it comes to overall performance, Michigan holds the upper hand both offensively and defensively. They are averaging 3 more points per 100 possessions compared to Oregon. On the defensive end, the Ducks are allowing 100 points per 100 possessions, while the Wolverines are only conceding 95 points per 100 possessions, which explains why Michigan is favored by a 6-point spread. The Ducks have not been competitive in their recent losses, with their past 4 defeats all coming by 6 or more points. So the Michigan Wolverines to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Last season, the two teams combined for a total of 169 points in their encounter, although this required overtime and took place before the Ducks were tested by the challenges of the Big Ten. This time, Michigan enters the game with the 4th best offense in the conference, playing at home where they average 10 more points per game compared to their road performances. According to Ken Palm, Michigan ranks 53rd in the nation in tempo, while Oregon is ranked 126th, which should result in a fairly moderate pace for the game. Over their last 10 games, the Ducks have surpassed 82 points on 3 occasions, while Michigan, despite coming off a subpar offensive outing, has a strong chance to rebound. They've scored at least 80 points in 7 of their last 10 games. Between the two teams, there have been 24 instances this season in which the total has gone over the projected number. Defensively, Oregon has not been performing well during their current losing streak. The Ducks have allowed 77 or more points in 4 of their last 6 games, which is concerning heading into this matchup. The Wolverines, though, are not immune to giving up points due to their fast-paced style of play. In their last 5 games, they have conceded an average of 77 points. Additionally, Michigan's offense has been potent, regularly scoring 80 or more points in 6 of their 10 conference games. They have put up 80 points or more in 4 of their last 5 games at home. Both teams play at a quick tempo, with Michigan ranking 54th nationally in adjusted tempo. The over has been a strong trend, hitting in 6 of the Wolverines' last 8 games. Given the current form of both teams, I expect this game to feature plenty of scoring. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Duke versus Syracuse. The red-hot Duke Blue Devils are set to travel to Upper State, New York, where they will face off against the Syracuse Orange in what promises to be an exciting matchup. Duke enters this game riding the longest winning streak in the nation, having won an impressive 15 consecutive games. Most recently, they secured a thrilling victory over their arch-rivals, the North Carolina Tar Heels, further solidifying their dominant form. On the other hand, the Syracuse Orange come into this contest with a less-than-ideal record of 10-12 so far this season, leaving them with a challenging task ahead of them. Duke approaches this game with a perfect record in Atlantic Coast Conference play, standing tall with an undefeated conference record. Their remarkable winning streak, which now spans 15 games, showcases their incredible consistency and skill. However, they will be tested on the road in this contest. In their previous road game, the Blue Devils faced some struggles against Wake Forest, but their defense proved to be a key factor in securing the win. Although Duke's offense has been impressive this year, they have truly distinguished themselves with an exceptional defense that allows just 60 points per game on average. In contrast, Syracuse recently ended their losing streak with a victory over California, but they are allowing a concerning 77 points per game on defense. While it's clear that Duke is the superior team in this matchup, the challenge of covering a large spread on the road in conference play makes this game more difficult to predict. So the Syracuse Orange to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Despite playing at a slower pace than some of their counterparts, the Blue Devils are still one of the highest scoring teams in the nation. They currently sit second in the Atlantic Coast Conference in scoring for the season and boast the 5th best offensive efficiency rating in the entire country. Duke has the physical size to dominate inside the paint, but they also have the perimeter shooting ability to stretch opposing defenses. In fact, they rank first in the Atlantic Coast Conference in three-point field goals made per game, making them a versatile offensive force. Syracuse, by contrast, plays at a faster pace, ranking 89th in the nation for pace of play. The Orange are also adept at forcing turnovers, sitting at the top of the Atlantic Coast Conference in turnover margin. They will likely look to generate turnovers and push the pace in an effort to keep the game high scoring, which should help increase their point total on Wednesday night. The most recent meeting between these two teams saw a total of 152 points scored, just scraping over the 151-point total set for that game. Syracuse, despite only scoring 66 points in that contest, was still able to help push the total beyond 150 points. Based on that result, it seems likely that scoring will follow a similar pattern in this game. Duke is expected to shoulder the majority of the offensive load once again, and with their high scoring capabilities, they should have no trouble putting up points. The Blue Devils have scored 86 points or more in 6 of their last 9 games, showing their offensive prowess. Syracuse, for their part, has been scoring efficiently as well, hosting at least 72 points in 4 of their last 5 games. In fact, the over has hit in 7 of the last 10 games played between these two teams, which further supports the likelihood of a high-scoring affair. Given the Blue Devils' scoring firepower, the Orange only need to surpass the 70-point mark to help push the total over the projected number. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Creighton versus Providence. The Creighton Blue Jays are set to travel to Providence for an exciting conference matchup against the Providence Friars on Wednesday evening. Earlier this season, the Blue Jays emerged victorious in their first meeting, defeating Providence by a commanding 20 points on their home court. Creighton enters this game following a hard-fought road win against Villanova, securing a 62-60 victory as 1.5-point underdogs. Meanwhile, Providence comes off a narrow defeat on the road to number 15 St. John's, losing by just 2 points, 68-66, but impressively covered the spread as 13.5-point underdogs. When these two teams faced off earlier in the season, Creighton dominated the game, winning 84-64 on January 14th. The Blue Jays played an exceptional all-around game, stifling Providence's offense by forcing them into difficult shots while creating easy scoring opportunities on their end. The Friars have been involved in many closely contested Big East games, with 5 of their matchups being decided by 2 points or fewer. However, Providence's struggles have been compounded by the season-ending injury of their best player, Bryce Hopkins. The absence of Hopkins has left a noticeable gap in their lineup, as they have yet to find a consistent go-to player to fill his shoes. While Providence has performed admirably defensively in the Big East, their lackluster offensive output has consistently hurt them. The Friars currently lead the Big East in turnovers per game but have not been successful at generating turnovers defensively. In their most recent loss to St. John's, Providence committed 20 turnovers and managed just 6 steals. Given these factors, Creighton is expected to dominate once again, as Providence has no answer for Ryan Kalkbrenner, who posted 20 points and 10 rebounds in the first matchup. With their offensive struggles, the Friars won't be able to score enough to keep the game competitive. Providence gave a valiant effort against St. John's, pushing the game to the final moments before losing by 2 points on a last-second jumper. However, this loss will likely prove more discouraging than motivating, as the Friars missed their best chance at a significant win. This disappointment will likely carry over into their next game, where Creighton, with their superior talent, is expected to overpower Providence. The Friars lack an answer for Creighton's standout player, Ryan Kalkbrenner, who has been dominant recently. While Providence starts Urim once inside, the freshman is still untested at this level and will struggle to handle one of the best post players in the country. Kalkbrenner has been on a tear, scoring 20 or more points and grabbing at least 8 rebounds in each of his last 3 games, and he is poised to dominate the paint once again. Providence, a team that largely relies on perimeter shooting, will find it difficult to generate any success around the rim. When it comes to overall team performance, Creighton's defense stands out as the strongest unit in this game. Ranked 26th in defensive efficiency, the Blue Jays are well equipped to shut down a Providence offense that has struggled to score consistently. The Friars have only 2 players averaging double figures in points, both of whom are guards standing at 6'2" and scoring under 13 points per game, making them easy to defend. The Creighton Blue Jays have found their rhythm in recent weeks, winning 9 of their last 10 games. Their offensive output has been much more consistent and effective lately. On the other hand, while Providence has managed to win 9 of their 11 games at home this season, they have been severely hindered by the loss of Bryce Hopkins, which has resulted in consistent defeats against teams of comparable quality. Based on their recent form, I do not believe Providence has the offensive firepower to compete with Creighton. We saw this disparity first and last month when Creighton won by 20 points as a 9-point favorite. The Blue Jays have been a dominant force, going 7-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 7 games, and it's hard to imagine Providence breaking that streak. After a difficult loss, Providence will likely struggle to find their fire and will have a hard time competing at the same level. So the Creighton Blue Jays to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Providence will be forced to play at an elevated pace in this matchup, as they will find it challenging to keep up with Creighton's offensive output. As previously mentioned, the Friars lack a defensive answer for Kalkbrenner inside, and they are at a clear disadvantage analytically on defense, ranking just 99th in efficiency. Providence relies on the speed and quickness of their guards rather than the post presence of their bigs, and this will make it difficult for them to contain Creighton's dominant big man. Kalkbrenner, capable of taking over games when needed, has posted 8 games with at least 20 points this season, and his presence in the paint will be a huge factor. Both teams have players who can score from beyond the arc, with Creighton's Ashworth and Providence's Joseph and Pierre all having made over 45 three-pointers on the season. While Creighton tends to play at a faster tempo than Providence, once the Blue Jays take a lead, the Friars will have to speed up their offense and take quicker shots, as they did in their game against St. John's. Providence has gone over the total in 7 of their last 8 games, and this trend is likely to continue here. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Arkansas versus Texas. The Arkansas Razorbacks will be making their way to the Moody Center in Austin, Texas, where they will go head-to-head with the Texas Longhorns in what promises to be an exciting matchup. Arkansas currently holds the 14th spot in the Southeastern Conference standings, with an overall season record of 13-8 and a conference record of 2-6. Meanwhile, Texas sits in 10th place in the Southeastern Conference with a season record of 15-7 and a conference record of 4-5. The last time these two teams met, Texas came out on top, securing a close victory over Arkansas with a final score of 73-71. In recent history, Texas has had the upper hand, winning 2 out of the last 3 matchups against Arkansas by an average margin of 17.5 points. When it comes to betting, Texas has posted an impressive 6-2-1 record against the spread this season in games against conference opponents, while Arkansas has struggled with a 2-6-0 record against the spread in the same category. Arkansas has notably struggled defensively when playing on the road, which is a major concern, especially considering they are facing one of the strongest home teams in the country in Texas. The Razorbacks come into this game riding the momentum of a huge upset victory over Kentucky. This win demonstrated that Arkansas has the capability to compete with the best teams, but unfortunately, they have not been able to maintain this level of play consistently throughout the season. Additionally, there is a chance that the emotional high from the Kentucky win could lead to a letdown in this game, even though the Razorbacks should be ready to compete against Texas. Arkansas has also been inconsistent against the spread, failing to cover in 7 of their last 10 games and holding a 6-14-1 record against the spread for the season. On the other hand, Texas has been dominant at home, securing 10 out of their 15 total wins this season, and they are 6-1 against the spread in their last 8 games. Texas has proven to be the more balanced team, showcasing a better ability to string together successful performances. While Arkansas's emotional win over Kentucky was impressive, I believe it sets them up for a potential letdown in this game. The Razorbacks have struggled with consistency on the road, and it is hard to see them maintaining success over an extended period. Given the difficulties Arkansas has faced away from home, I am not confident they will be able to sustain their momentum here. Based on the current form of both teams, I'm going to have to fade Arkansas in this matchup. The line seems reasonable, and given the circumstances, the Texas Longhorns to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Looking at the recent performances of both teams, it's clear that Calipari's squad is currently more focused on offense than defense. They rank only 9th in the second scoring defense this season, which reflects a shift toward a more offensive-minded approach. The Longhorns are coming off one of their best offensive showings of the season, particularly in the second half of their game against LSU. With this offensive form, Texas will look to exploit a somewhat vulnerable Arkansas defense when the two teams meet on Wednesday night. On the other side, Arkansas plans to counter Texas's offensive strength by pushing the tempo and focusing on shooting from long range. The Razorbacks rank 101st in the country in terms of pace of play and have also just come off their second-best three-point shooting performance of the season, which they will hope to replicate in this game. Texas has a record of 7-4-2 against the over/under at home this season. When comparing the offensive and defensive averages of both teams, factoring in their performances in the last 3 games, and considering their home-away splits, we project a total of 146 points for this game. After adjusting for the average pace of 69.5 possessions between the two teams, the final projected total comes out to 144 points. This total is slightly above the line, and I believe it has a strong chance of hitting, especially given how well Texas has been performing offensively at home. Expect this game to be played at a fast pace, with plenty of long-range shooting from both teams. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.